Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Fuji stand. We're going to spend about 10 minutes looking at opportunities in digital print. At Fujifilm, we ask a lot of questions. And if you're a customer of Fujifilm, you may notice we're always asking questions of our customers. We visit them, we send them email surveys, and we try and find out what's affecting their business. We try and find out how they're using digital print, what the opportunities are they're making the most use of. We find out why some of our customers have not yet entered the digital print marketplace and the reasons why not. And as a result of all these questions and a result of all these surveys, we've pulled together some thoughts and ideas that I'm going to present to you over the next few minutes. The things we'll discuss are the fact that it's a changing world. The world's changing, things are different now than they were even 5, 3, 2, 1 year ago. Things are moving all the time, and we'll talk about that in some detail. We're also going to look at where we position print in this changing marketplace. We're going to look at the challenge to you and me as printers and people in the print trade. And we're going to look at some digital printing tools that we have here on the stand today. And we'll end with a challenge to do something about it rather than think about it, a challenge to get up and move and make some changes in our businesses. So where we start really is with understanding the changing world that we're in. I've got children, I don't know if you've got children too, but when you've got children it starts to make you realise how the world's changing, how they are now doing things that I never had the chance to do. My older children are saying my younger children have more chances than they ever had. Everybody's doing something when they're younger rather than when they're older. And technology is changing the world. Morals and different thoughts about the world are changing the way people act. And printing too has got to try and keep up with this and do something about it. Now, I don't know if you ever had the luxury of sitting by your swimming pool with a modern, up-to-date computer like this, with your shirt open, showing your chest wig to the world. I'm in the age where I can remember computers like this, although I can't say I ever sat by the pool with one. And when computers were like this, they were great big boxes with tiny screens that were just made probably just black and white. Life was very simple. Computers would just add up columns of numbers, perhaps help us do a bit of word processing. They would do sums quicker than we could do in our head, with a larger screen than a tiny calculator. But now things have moved on. It's not just about efficiency and doing things faster. Computers are all about communication. They're about entertainment. They're about talking to each other. They're about listening to music, watching movies. I don't know about you, but probably in an average day, I send more emails than I have telephone conversations. I talk to people electronically rather than face-to-face or even on the telephone. And that's what's changing the world with computers. Everything's getting affected, and business models are changing too, and the business model of print has to change along with it. This can lead to a knee-jerk reaction, shall we say, of just reducing prices or margins in order to compete with other communication means. But what I would say to you today is there are alternatives to cutting your prices. There are alternatives to just giving away margin that can make print more valuable. Now, I don't know about you, but when I see a chart like this, I think of marketing campaigns, I think possibly of a training course, a product introduction. Most processes in business of communication have some kind of sequence like this, where you start off with planning and designing something, you then produce whatever it is you're going to produce to communicate with, you interact with people who may use it, you track what they do and how they buy it, and then you analyze that data and see what's happened. Then you can refine your model, your business model, and start to reintroduce it as the new version 2 that washes whiter than it ever did. And we can think when we look at this, well, how does print fit in here? Where does print fit in this cycle? Do we squeeze it into these white lines between the pie? But what I would say is no, print pervades the whole circle. We've got opportunities here to put print into all of these areas, to use print to interact with people, to communicate with people, and to evaluate what we're doing. The challenge is for us to increase the value of print. If we could all print on gold bars, we don't need to sell 1 or 2 a day to meet our targets and have all the things we need, but we can't. But we can print on things that are more valuable. We can print items that people take and find more use to them and find interesting and that they keep instead of throwing away. And there's lots of tools I'll talk about later that we can use. In the end, we've got to deliver print that brings results. There's no use printing hundreds of thousands of something if it just gets thrown away. It's better to print 10 or 15 to bring a result. And that's the model possibly we can adopt when we talk to our customers and say, I can add value to your print. So just out of interest, how many printers in the audience? Anybody here actually do print? Thank goodness for that. There's a good percentage over there. I'm not sure I believe some of you, but thank you. So we need to deliver print that brings some results that means something to our customers. So how do we react? We react by understanding the print customer. The people who actually use that piece of print, hold it in their hand and do something with it. Now, normally at this point in the presentation, I'll look across the audience, the crowds that are thronging to the stand, and try and find somebody looking at a piece of print. And there's a gentleman at the back who doesn't even know I'm pointing to him. Yes, he does. He's looking through some kind of manual. Can you show us what you're reading, sir? At least it's safe. Yes, it's not anything you shouldn't be reading. That's good. He's reading a brochure, a car brochure. Now, that's interesting to him. He's thinking of buying a new car, probably. And it's interesting until he buys the car. Once he's bought the car, it probably goes in the bin. But in the meantime, you may well study that several times. He may well go to certain pages again and again, more than other pages. And do we understand that process? And can we talk to our customers about that process so that we can give them more valuable print? It's something worth considering. And we shouldn't be embarrassed, too, about selling the value of non-print items. There are lots of time as printers, and these gentlemen who are all printers, they tell me, will understand this, when you spend time playing with data, manipulating data, perhaps sometimes you're negotiating between different parties in the print process, trying to get to an end result that actually means you can start printing. And are we embarrassed to show that on our invoices? Would we put a line item on our invoice that says project management, data cleaning, negotiation? We probably wouldn't. But if we're delivering something of high value, then we can afford to do that because our customers will see the value in what we're doing. In the end, it's down to our sales approach. Another quick survey, so I love surveys. Any print salesmen in the audience, or ladies? Anyone who sells print for a living? Great, so I can criticize print salespeople then. Lots of print salespeople, when they get the chance of an order, customer comes to them and says, I'd like 10,000 of these, please. And they say, oh, great, when would you want them? Or what kind of stock is it on? Or I think that might be a spot color there. They're very mechanical kind of reactions. Rather, I think we should ask iterative questions, questions that involve a discussion. For instance, when the next time somebody brings you some work, why not say why? Why not say, why are you printing this? What's it going to do for you and your company? What people are going to get it? Are you going to put it in a warehouse and deliver a few every week? Are you going to put it in the post? Are you going to ask people to order one from the internet? Is it as a result of a telephone call that someone gets this piece of information? What does it do? Is it training? Is it awareness? Is it a charity thing? When we understand that, when we understand what our customers are doing, then we can offer some services alongside that that make it more valuable. That say, instead of printing 10,000 every year, I'll print 1,000 every week or every month and distribute it in a new and different way. I'll put some content in there that is now and active and live. That's the kind of thing we can do. So let's look at the tools that are available to offer these kind of services. We're going to look at online tools. We're going to look at personalization tools. We're going to look at digital printing tools. First of all, online. At Fuji, we do lots of things online. We communicate with our customers a lot of the time online. And even our workflow, XMF. XMF stands for Cross-Media Workflow. It's the fastest growing workflow in Europe at the moment. From its roots 4 years ago, we've got hundreds of installations now. And one thing we're adding to that is remote capabilities, so that people can approve proofs in the middle of the night when the printer is shut. They can upload files. They can change the pagination order. They can make amendments and add annotations to documents. We're also working with EFI on digital storefront. This is the web-to-print system, so your business can be open 24 hours a day and people can order from you. Where we find this really works is where you're offering a service to a customer who is going to order again and again over a period of time, rather than just opening a store. But we can talk about that on the stand over there if you want to see somebody about it. Also, personalization. XMPie is the software that we're showing today at 3:30. There'll be a demonstration over on the smaller area on the stand over there about personalization. XMPie is a great tool, from a few £1,000s to tens of thousands of pounds, from a small variable data campaign to looking at something that stretches across the internet and text messaging and emails. And also we're working with Adobe. I notice our friends from Adobe are here. Nice to see you. We're working with Adobe on the next standard in variable data, which is PDF VT. VT stands for variable transactional, so the ability to have a PDF file that contains many permutations of the same thing, so that when you print that file, every page is different. Every page has some personal information on it. And again, we can talk to you later on about that. And then it comes to putting ink on the paper, or putting color on the paper, whatever that might be. Here we see the range of Xerox machines on our stand today. Fuji and Xerox have a relationship. In the 1960s, we formed a company and we decided to call it Fuji Xerox. It took a long time to think of the name. And it started in the 60s so that we could build equipment together and pool our knowledge and make a new breed of equipment. And all the equipment you see on the stand today is built by that partnership of Fuji Xerox. So we've got a long history in digital imaging. Not to mention the jet press behind the screen here, which I expect you all think I'm going to reveal in a minute. I'm not. That'll be in about 15 minutes' time. At the bottom of the screen there you see some of the wide format and point of sale equipment that we have. There's a whole host of equipment behind me on the stand to my left for point of sale, for banners, for building wraps, for vehicle wraps, as well as the materials and the inks that go with it, and the business model to back it up as well. There's no point in me just talking to you about equipment. And there on the right-hand side, you see just a screenshot from our our XMF workflow, which ties all this together. It helps you to take files and point them in whatever direction you wish, whether to plate and litho, whether to digital sheet-fed, whether to wide format media, whatever it might be, ties it all together. And so let's sum up then. What action do I think we should take? I have a challenge for you. Look at your customers and start to ask them awkward questions. Look at your customers and ask them why they print, what value they have in that print, and what their customers do with it. Look at your own organization and see, is it structured to respond to this kind of question? Do your salespeople know the right questions to ask? Do the people who answer the telephone know about the concepts behind high-value print and adding value to your printing? And of course, the reason you're here today to look at Fujifilm. Look at what we've got, look at the tools we have, wander around the stand and ask questions. When I'm finished, come and talk to me and ask me about all these tools I've been talking about. So that's me done, but I think hopefully over the last few minutes I've illustrated why we think Fujifilm can bring you the power to succeed. Thank you very much.